Hey, I'm Brad Roth, and you're listening to the Passive Investor Show.
The views and opinions provided on this show are for informational purposes only and should not be misinterpreted as an offer to buy or sell any securities or to make or consider any investment or course of action. For more information, please go to passiveinvestorshow.com. Hey, PI listeners, this is John Fortes. I'm making it a point to speak to as many investors as possible. My goal is to position myself to be a blessing to my network through conversation. How could one be a blessing through conversation? The easy answer is by listening. A simple conversation can open many opportunities and doors. I always ask myself this: what do I have to lose by having one more conversation? Going back to high school, I've connected friends and family in my network to one another, even if it didn't benefit me. And I continue those same principles and practices. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. If I can't help you, I probably know someone or something that can probably solve your problem. I'd love for you to become a part of that network. Go to www.johnfortes.com, create your investor profile, and schedule a call. How can I best serve you through conversation? In the words of Clarence the Angel from It's a Wonderful Life, no man is a failure who has friends.
And now, the Passive Investor Show. Here's your host, John Fortes.
Welcome, PI listeners, to the Passive Investor Show. I'm the Passive Investor Consultant, John Fortes, your host of the only ranked podcast for passive investors in multifamily syndications and real estate funds. Our goal and purpose of this show is to be a resource to investors and help them master their passive investments by beating inflation 1% at a time. Welcome, PI family. Today, I have the pleasure of connecting you with Brad Roth. Since 1998, Brad Roth has been a top real estate agent at Pinnacle Estate Properties. He was recently inducted into the Pinnacle Estate Properties Hall of Fame. Brad studied psychology and communications and then studied improv and scene study while working as an actor for a number of years, appearing on shows such as Beverly Hills, 90210, Saved by the Bell. But the last 20 plus years, he's been taking all that knowledge he gained and put it towards a very successful career in real estate. Brad is considered one of the best in the Southern California real estate market. He puts his clients' needs first, uses top marketing techniques, and he possesses top-notch negotiating skills, getting the best price for his clients. Now, before we introduce Brad, you're probably wondering, John, this is a passive investor show. Why are we talking to a broker? That's what we're going to find out. Brad, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me. Hello, PI.
I love it. I love the energy you're bringing already. Brad, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into the real estate agent side of things?
Sure. Talking about investing and passive investing, my dad just always said to me, he said, Brad, look, you want to make a lot of money in life, two things. You're either going to get into, if you're going to get into sales, get into either insurance or real estate. That's where the money is. And in real estate, you can take money and not a lot of it, invest it and watch it grow because everything runs in cycles. So talking about passive investing, taking, your first $25,000 and investing it into a home, putting 10% down, right? $25,000 on a $250,000 home, and 5 years later selling it for $500,000, and you're doubling your money. And where else can you really do that?
I completely get it. And that's why I invest and a lot of the listeners invest. But can you talk us about what transitioned you in that part of your career to really jump in as an agent on that side of things?
So you're asking what made me want to be a real estate agent?
Yes, absolutely.
I love helping people. And for me, being able to take a brand new family and sell them their first home and watch them actually, fall in love with it. And then them call me 2 or 3 years later and say, look, our family's grown and we want to have another house, and actually taking me through the steps of their life and sitting down with them and saying, okay, look, you're going to buy this house now. Let's plan on in 5 years selling it. You'll probably make this. Then you're going to buy this, and helping set them up for their future really is a big thing. And then taking older investors, maybe taking someone who's 60 or 65 or 70 and saying, okay, you've been in this house for 30 years, or you've had this rental property for 20 years, and then selling that for them and watching them smile and watching them feel like, wow, my plan and my strategy of building their wealth and setting them up for their retirement so they can now do the things that they wanted to do is a really special time. And that's really what helps me to make real estate over 23 years ago my career.
That's so genuine, and I can hear it in your voice. And we've had conversations prior to this interview, and it's just been basically that's your character from what I gathered from you. Right? So we're introduced, and we had a conversation that was supposed to be about 30 minutes. It went on for about an hour and a half, and we've talked after that, communicated after that, and it's just been so genuine of you. And I just kind of sensed that as you were saying that. So helping investors, right, was your passion, like helping investors, helping first-time home buyers as an agent. It was your goal. And as Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll eventually get what you want. I'm
I love that.
Right?
I love that. Good. I love Zig Ziglar.
I mean, he was the man. So as we move forward, I kind of want to go backwards real quick, because I'm sure everybody else is interested. You acted. Tell us about how it was as an actor, because I'm just nosy like that.
Sure. It was a lot like sales. You are standing out there naked and afraid and not knowing where your next, gig is going to come from. I started out doing a lot of extra work and realized very quickly that the only way to kind of get your name out there and stand out from the rest of the people to get noticed was to be there all the time, anytime they needed you. Find out how the camera works, find out how the sound works, find out what they're doing. And eventually what would happen is I would be getting invited back onto the shows. So for instance, Saved by the Bell, the new class. I started on that show. I was on it for 2 years, started out doing extra work. And then I got tapped to do 5 and under, which is 5 lines or under. Then all of a sudden I was on the football team, and I started being in a lot of different episodes. Same with 90210 Beverly Hills. If you look at the senior year of 90210, especially, you'll see a lot of scenes, but on the Donna Martin Graduates one, where she got kicked out of high school for drinking at her prom, they cut to me on commercials, right before commercials, so many times when I'm screaming, Donna Martin Graduates, and they're just my face with Tori Spelling right there, and Jason Priestley. And there was a lot of things and a lot that you can get from showing, no matter what you do in life, your hard work and your work ethic, and that you're a team player, no matter how big or how small. So I took that and went into from transition from acting into real estate, and I still act. I mean, I was on General Hospital 2 years ago. I wish that I started real estate when I first became an actor when I was 18 years old, because I was a bartender in Hollywood and, going on gigs and doing the things. But man, the money in real estate is incredible. And you can do that and do other things. You just have to believe in yourself.
I love that the real estate's allowed you to still be able to chase that passion of yours. And I'm sure you have your SAG card, and anybody familiar with all of that, I'm sure you're collecting some passive income from the past shows you've still done. So it correlates well with the show.
But yeah, I do. And it's really cool. It's like, it's like Christmas sometimes, or Hanukkah, or whatever you believe in. You just go to the mailbox, and there'll be a $4 check or a $12 check. And you're like, oh, this is really cool.
Hey man, I'll get it however I can. So you're getting, and I love it, man. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So setting up the passive investments. Now you're an agent. Now you transition. You built your firm. You're still doing whatever you love.
Yeah.
And now investors are reaching out to you. Now let's talk about and focus on the investors that are looking to create passive income. They are sourcing you out. How are they coming, across you to be able to put them in the right investment situation?
So again, a lot of it's referral. It's hey, Brad has taken care of me for over 20 years. He really knows what he's doing when it comes to real estate. Give Brad a call. So someone will call me and I'll say, hey, I'm in the entertainment industry as I know you were, or hey, John Fortes to give you a call. He says that you really know how to make passive income. I've got $1 million or I've got $500,000 and I don't want to sit and watch it, but I would like to place it into some real estate and make some passive income. And, guys like you are great who you really know what you're doing. So I would take an investor like mine and set you up with him because because I know that to be able to take, $500,000 or even as low as $50,000 and say, okay, you can park it with John and his firm and buy into a gigantic apartment building. They manage it. You don't have to worry about a thing. You'll be getting your quarterly updates, right? That's a really huge responsibility that my clients actually put on me and trust me with. So when I get those phone calls, which are quite often, I really want to make sure that we're going into, an investment with someone who cares as much as I do.
And how are you sourcing these opportunities with them? What kind of conversations are you having with them to find out if investing in a building or an asset themselves is the right thing as opposed to investing in a firm that you can refer them to?
Right. Well, so it's a great question. So it's really having a conversation. It's sitting down like we are now via either in person or Zoom or phone call and saying, what are your needs? What do you hope to accomplish? Is this money that you need maybe to pull out in a year? Because if it is, well, then that may not be the right opportunity for you. Maybe you're going to want to talk to a financial planner and you're going to want to put it into a safe mutual fund. But if you believe in cycles and you believe in a strategy and you can park your money for a certain amount of time and really this is what the projected income is going to be, this is what your dividend will be, this is what if that's what works for them, then I would source it to the right place. So really for me, as I told you when I got into real estate, it's helping someone with a strategy for the rest of their lives. My niece called me today and said to me, she's like, Uncle Brad, I'm 30 years old now and I want to buy a place. So I said to her, well, what's your strategy? What's your needs? If you look at the cycles, is right now really the right time to buy? I said, if you can buy it and you plan on ever renting it out and it can pay your PITI plus HOA, sure. But if you feel that the market is going to go down, why don't we talk about that and look at the cycles? So in any type of buying or selling or any type of passive investing, I think that the person has to really have a great understanding of the market and what a guy like you or your company would do for them to make sure it's the right fit.
Now you mentioned a few words that triggered it usually triggers an impression from people: cycles. And the word is cycles.
Yeah.
So how are you coaching your students with your brokerage firm, as a part to what are you saying different to investors to your brokerage, or is it all the same thing?
So first of all, I work for Pinnacle Estate Properties. I am a partner in one of the offices, so it's not my broker. It's not my brokerage, but I do coach a lot of agents. And when I'm coaching agents, one of the things I do talk about with them is cycles. So when I say cycles, I say, let's look at the market trend. So when's the last time there was a market crash? Oh, that was in 2008, right? So not that we're going to have another 2008, but what I say is, let's look at what the market was bearing for the house you're interested in 2008, worst case scenario. Let's look at how long it took to come back up. If you can buy now, and let's say the market crashed and you can ride it back up and you're financially stable enough to do it, this is the right investment for you. And that's what I mean by cycles.
Thank you for sharing that. And a lot of investors are usually sit on the sidelines with investments, but with multifamily investing, the resiliency of apartments is very strong because it's not based off of what
Right.
comps,
It's not
like the residential world. It's based off of the NOI being produced and such. So that's another big plus for apartment strategies. But Brad, man, you've been sharing a lot of nuggets. Is there one piece of advice you can tell our listeners? One piece of advice for PI listeners.
Yeah, I think one of the main things is make sure whoever you're investing with, especially on to get passive income, is, I was really impressed with you, John, in what you just sent out. For instance, on your new apartment complex, the Magnolia, right? You have a plan, and I think that my advice for your listeners or anyone investing in anything is find out what the plan is. So we talked about strategy. Well, in your strategy, you put what the cycle was. You had said, hey, look, we're projected for this income. We're projected to do these kinds of repairs. After the repairs, we're still going to be $140 a month less than what apartments are going for. So, and if we do that, here's the kind of income you can, expect. I was very impressed with that because you had hit all of the necessary requirements for me to feel comfortable in an investment. So to your listeners, I would say you need to get someone who is a professional, who has a great prospectus. I would say definitely look into your investments, because I'm really, really impressed with what I've been seeing.
Man, that means the world to me, but it's about you today, Brad. It's about you. and the only thing I will say about that is, when you're purchasing something, a lot of people want to make it the best, right? So for instance, if I'm purchasing an investment property through you, Brad, and the market in that area says, there's 3 top producing assets that are comparable for that are, charging this for rent.
Right.
And then your assets may be like 8, 9, 10 in the market. Don't try to make it the best. Make it 5, 6, 7. That's going to improve the NOI anyways. So don't over improve it. Leave some meat on the bones. Let someone else come and take that from 5, 6, 7 when you exit, to make it 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, or whatever it is, because it's about simple improvements. You don't have to get top rent dollar. You can get in the middle of that and still improve your NOI. So that's one of the big things. And thank you for schooling us on that aspect for the PI listeners. That's very important. But Brad, how can we stay in touch with you?
Well, you can stay in touch with me. I have a podcast, so you guys can listen to my podcast, and it's on all the major podcast sites. It's called All Things Real Estate with Brad Roth. I have many guests like yourself who I'm going to be booking that just talk anything to do with real estate. And if your guests are interested in getting into real estate or their real estate license, I also do coaching, and they're more than welcome to go to atrepodcast.com, and they'll be able to look up what I do and how I can help them.
Awesome. Before we go, Brad, is there any meaning behind your company name? That's my favorite question to ask on the show.
Behind All Things Real Estate?
All Things Real Estate.
Yeah, there really is. For me, with All Things Real Estate, I like to consider myself a helper, a coach, right? Someone who you understand coaching from reffing and everything else. And for me, I wanted to be able to answer questions on everything, not just one part of real estate. So by naming it All Things Real Estate, which I have, by the way, trademarked for podcasts and entertainment. I just felt that I would be able to open up the gamut to my clients and to my podcast listeners and anything that they were interested in.
I love that. And if you're thinking about naming your show All Things, you'll get that cease and desist order
Right.
quick in the mail. He's trademarked it. My man, Brad. Brad, thank you for stopping by the show, man. We really enjoyed it. And thank you for sharing what you did to the PI listeners, man. I appreciate you sharing all your experience of helping people connect with brokers like you.
Thank you, John. It's really been a fantastic time on your show, and I wish you nothing but much success and love.
Don't forget to download your free copy of the investment tracker. It allows you to track up to 5 investments, compare sponsors, markets, and most importantly, projected versus actual returns. To get your copy, go to www.projectedreturns.com. PI listeners, thank you for listening. As always, we hope this was the best resource for your investment strategy, but also the best use of your time. Remember, if this episode helps you, you can help us by leaving a review on iTunes. I hope you feel compelled enough to share it with someone you think this would resonate with as well. As much as it pains us to leave you, but you know what time it is. Time to go put this into practice. Till the next time we meet, happy investing. PI listeners, I'm grateful for your time and I appreciate you for listening. It would mean the world to me if you went to iTunes and left a rating and written review. Let me know how you feel about the show. It really makes a big difference with getting the podcast out there. Don't forget about our Facebook group, where all of our guests are members of. I'll be there to answer any of your questions, or even questions you might have for future guests. Subscribe so you can get the latest episodes and our fan favorite quick hitters. Finally, I want to keep you updated, so head over to johnfortes.com and sign up for the newsletter. If you're interested in partnering with me, sign up on the contact page so you can talk to me directly. I look forward to connecting with you. Happy investing.